Have you ever had the opportunity to play undercover boss at your own job? You see, God gave me an opportunity. I was the only person to apply for a position, and it was across the country. I had one opportunity, and I really wanted to be in that job until I was 40 years old. And I took a leap on faith, and I said, you know what? My situation where I am is coming to a close. I was living in Norfolk, Virginia, and the job that I had moved there for let me go due to my stance on CDC protocols. And I knew it was coming because I definitely didn't make it easy. I was talking to HR directors and managers. And when I decided to settle in my new position, I knew what the title entailed. And I had some knowledge on, things that had happened within that same field in previous positions. I say that all to say this. Sitting in each department, having regular dugglers train me, and sitting and shadowing and understanding and sitting back, and 2 weeks later, after learning every single department, putting it all together, asking more questions, creating my own department, and then the warehouse realizing that she was the big boss the whole time. So they felt deceived, and that was strictly because my badge hadn't come in yet. I had a temporary badge. So I want you to wear your badge, your chosen one badge, proud, even if it's a temporary right now. Because while everybody doesn't deserve to see your glorious, magnificent, feel your amazing energy every single opportunity, they feel like they want it or need it, and they don't like that you fell back. And they have to recognize that it's not about you. It's about my temporary badge. When you start making things uncomfortable for other people because they were thriving off of your shine, oh, you better believe the foundation had to have been strong in order for us to determine whether or not it will survive. Know who you are, even with the temporary badge. Never lose sight of your power. Never lose sight of your position. Never lose sight of your mission. Never lose sight of the ridiculous people that play your side, who are high-key groupies. They high-key groupies. You my groupie, ma? Got your boyfriend feeling like a groupie. They own that. And everybody know who the truth be. Cute GH fam. And realizing that you gotta side eye people for who they always expose themselves to be. People character don't change if they don't do the work to change it. They always say you can't change somebody, right? They always say you can't change somebody. But that's because the person has to be willing to change themselves in order to change. Is reminding me of the 4 leaves that are still left on the trees now, because baby, remember fall, how big and beautiful the trees would look? You'll see the foliage, like different colors, genuine different colors, and they would happen in a slow phase, not overnight. Then the leaves are gone, and now we in the heap of winter. It's really sad that now when it's much cooler in the air, you actually see the blue skies. Unbeknownst to them, the summer ain't going away. It's going to get like Alabama in the northern states, I promise you. It's going to be real interesting. I love to see that in New York City. Oh my God. That's probably why everybody moving back. It's just like the fall foliage and how there were so many bountiful leaves all the time. Kids used to rake them just to jump in them. You lucky if you get a bag to fill right now, where at least where I live, there's hardly any life in the trees, and it makes me confused because there was a time when, as the top part and the outward showing part would change first, because that's the leaves you see on the outside. So they would go from green to yellow to orange to red, and then they would fall on the ground, and then they would turn brown. I remember picking up the oak leaves and coloring over them with a crayon to create an imprint, to see the fingerprint, if you will, of a leaf. And recognizing now that I'm looking at these leaves and even the internal parts of the tree, where these leaves were probably the center of the tree, and probably have would have remained the greenest the longest, because it was technically protected by the outward layers of the tree. When there is no more outward layer of a tree, and all you really have is its center, what do you call that? Do you continue to call it a tree? Or you just continue to address it as its branches? No, you still call it a tree. I, I guarantee you this is a process that we are witnessing on Earth, that people know. Oh, I gotta finish watching that movie. People know that the Earth is going to freeze, and its poles shifted. The poles literally shifted, and I'd say at least 3 to 6 degrees. I have to get into that on like a rabbit hole weekend where I don't move and just eat popcorn all day. Like, I genuinely have to look into this, because if it's that much of a shift, who is going to get whose weather? Places that aren't supposed to be hit with a certain type of weather during the La Nina phase coming 2025, I'm telling you, it's about to get really interesting. It's really about to get interesting. I literally feel like I live in like the south type of weather. At night it's 30, 40 degrees, Cali even too, with a crisp wind of cool air. And then during the daytime it's 60s, 70s, feels like 80s, because the sun is just emitting so many flares and powerful CMEs, and you feel that energy. Like, I'm sitting out here during the day, the wee mornings and the hours, and you could actually feel the heat permeating off of the sun, and it's just rising. I used to sit out here in the summer and do yoga from 12 to 2 when it's some of the hottest weather, temperatures reading like 100 degrees, and I felt like I was sitting in a hot yoga class. Like, you be getting your sweat on, and I loved it. And that's pretty much how I've been able to shred um, for the winter, because I felt like I've always kind of bulked up, or ate more, or partied more, or moved around more, so I'm eating more fast food, so I'm putting on pounds, but I'm still active for the spring summer months. But that summer hardcore hot yoga, you know, phasing into like slowing down for the fall. I always, lose some pounds, and I love that. I love that. I know my body knows to naturally slim down for the winter so that we can maintain that, summer body vibrations. I think people have to find the flow of their own body. And I've literally think that me eating meat, in my mid to early 20s and then cutting out meat for 10 years and then re-adding it back in late 2021. Um, it was a scare because I loved seafood. I had been pescatarian for 6 years before I went full vegan, vegetarian, raw vegan, even for the remaining 4 years. And had to literally, unfortunately, trial and error my life. When I had ate some seafood from this Portuguese spot in Jersey, I went to visit, and I was actually going to the train so I could go down to Virginia to take some family photos. And I had some shrimp for the first time, and my entire face swell up. I had blisters in and out of my mouth. It was really, really bad reaction to shellfish. And the following year, I did it again because don't judge my life, but I had crab a couple of months later in Virginia Beach, and I was fine. I had lobster months before that in Mexico, and I was fine. So it's like, okay, am I just allergic to shrimp? So now, interestingly enough, fast forward to 2 weeks ago, I had clean, peeled, veined, some shrimp to make like pasta or something like that. I wanted to make like a white ricotta sauce. And I was like, ooh, let's try shrimp because the store only had tilapia and we don't do that. So I tried the shrimp chow. And in the morning, I woke up and the whole inside of my like roof of my mouth was swell up again. Kind of like how like I could feel the tingling, and thankfully I only had like 5 pieces of shrimp. I cannot have like an influx, but I could eat oysters, I could eat octopus, like I can eat a lot of things. It's the weirdest freaking thing. But shrimp is like I have a limit of what I can take. So interestingly enough, um, if I do have it, I have to more than likely cook it myself, or be at like Noble or something, because that was the second time I decided to try my life, and we had did like a custom chef menu that night, and he was like, "You're not allergic to shellfish, but you can't have shrimp." I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Are you sure?" He was like, "Do you know anything else?" I was like, "No." And he was like, all right, no problem. So, needless to say, our menu was fabulous. It was so good. But I had so many different things. I had like yellowtail, just so many. Ooh, we had so many things. Black cod was fire, different types of sushi, like just so much stuff. Everything was amazing. But again, I don't even know how I started talking about that. I guess that's just in case y'all try to do something crazy. But I've been really thinking about, just praying on change, and I've been reading a lot of my past journal entries, and uh, that really just started. And it kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I feel like I'm still dealing with the same emotions or officially closing out those cycles. So what I do is I intentionally put myself in situations because if I'm not sure, I'll say that because some situations I just automatically know when to cut off. Um, when I'm in some situations where I'm not 100% sure about someone's character, so I'll go back and do a rinse and repeat. And I'll change, my personality, because more than likely I'm continuously evolving. I'm consistently doing shadow work. Any new bit of information that allows me to heal a part of me a little bit more, I literally go back and start rereading and refocusing and, really regaining that strength back because there are really a lot of wounds in us that we really need to heal. And because people are so afraid to go back and heal those wounds, they continue to mirror their hurt onto other people and continue to hurt others. So, me coming with my new fly energy, I know that my glow is going to reflect on people, and people harness that and use it and abuse it. And it's kind of old now, and I've gone back into cycles with four people specifically, and then I had added on a couple of more people. But these were four core relationships in my life that I felt were directly correlated to me looping in multiple facets. And I didn't realize that I didn't believe in myself enough to know that I can make it without my parents, without my quote unquote friends, sisters and brothers, you know, those core relationships that allowed me to develop to be who I am today. Every relationship, every influence, every inkling and intuitive nudge, you know, with people has allowed them to be phased out on their own. And I've learned that my silence causes people confusion, anger, distress, confusion again, because now they're like, wait, okay, I went through all these emotions and now they're back to being confused, because they think that it's something that they did, when in reality, it really was something that they did, whether energetically, physically, so many other ways. They realized that they were frivolous with the energy that they received and they started taking more than they gave. And when you realize that some people are in that space, when you remove yourself from that, you start to see the cards fall. And when I was a kid, I used to always have a 52 card deck and I would stack them up in houses and they would be so long. Like, I think we used like 26 cards at one time. Just doing cool things. That was how we entertained ourselves as children. But that's how easy things can crumble. A move of a table, a breath too hard. Some people's foundations be on some faulty shit like that. And all the while, still on some groupie shit, wishing that you fall, wondering why you and not them, wondering why you are chosen. So many people slept on me, and I just don't understand how. I've been literally telling my plans the entire time, but I believe because I came with a quiet, mousy, I'm just fitting in. I wear shoes from Payless, you know, and I'm just here. But that underdog spirit is the one that you should always watch out for. And now people are upset because they didn't watch out for you. They counted you out. They thought that their devious plans would rule over you. And that's not what happens when you have a supreme being such as Sun God Ra, universe, source, God, Mother Earth, energy that you are guided by. Never not once did we not know who the fuck we were. We was just waiting for you to find out. And the best way for people to find out is once again to remove yourself. People believe that you need social media for people to know who you are. And that is a bunch of false advertisements. If people want to find you, they'll do whatever they can to find you. It's definitely gonna be exposed in whatever intuitive way that's gonna be like aha moment, and then boom. People know who you are. They just hope that you don't know who you are. And that's why I am free as fuck.